Hello, everyone. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. The big story today is CSIS alleges that India interfered in the Conservative Party leadership race with Pierre Poilievre 3 years ago. This is a hit piece. They're every day. Expect this every day now. I was banking on complete censorship, but now they're going to go with censorship, misinformation, and foreign interference. That's their game plan, and it's just going to be smear, smear, smear. Here is Pierre Poilievre absolutely destroying carnivore Carney. Listen to this.
But I'm glad that the Liberals put this attack out today. Really glad. Because there's something that's really been worrying me. After Justin Trudeau named Mark Carney his economic advisor, giving him massive power over public policy in Canada, Mr. Carney went over for meetings in Beijing where he just had secret talks with the deputy governor of the Chinese central bank. 2 weeks later, Brookfield got a $250 million loan. What did they talk about? What did Mr. Carney in his role as Trudeau's economic advisor offer China? Why would he be having secret meetings with top government-controlled bankers about getting a $250 million loan while he was supposed to be acting in Canada's interest as the Prime Minister's economic advisor? Why would he be collaborating with a hostile foreign regime that we have since learned executed 4 Canadians and took numerous Canadians hostage for a lengthy period of time? And given that Mr. Carney knows that he still owns massive financial interests in Brookfield, which owes a $250 million to a Chinese state-controlled bank, how do we know he's not going to act against our interests in favor of his financial interests? Why didn't he stand in front of this microphone and confess to Canadians that he owes the Chinese government that kind of money? Is this why he's covering up his financial interests? And given that China has murdered our people, taken our people hostage, how is he ever going to stand up to foreign interference when he is so financially compromised? We have never in our history had a weak, out-of-touch leader so terribly compromised and conflicted, whose interests go against our national interests. And I call on Mr. Carney right now to come before a microphone today and explain if this loan is still in place and if he still has those Brookfield assets that he had up until a few weeks ago. Because we cannot trust someone. Could you imagine, while you're supposed to be advising Canada's Prime Minister on the well-being of our economy, going to a foreign regime that had executed Canadian citizens, taken Canadians hostage, that it had already been public that they had interfered in multiple elections. They've done incursions into our northern waters. Mark Carney will never be able to protect our national interests because he has massive financial conflicts of interest overseas. What we need now is not to give the Liberals a 4th term with a weak and compromised leader. What we need is a Prime Minister who will put Canada first for a change.
Media will never, ever talk about the Chinese collusion with the Liberal Party and just the interconnectedness with politics, really, federal government, especially over the last 10 years, since 2015. You know Canada is compromised because they are silent right now. Politicians, the media, everything is just silent about China. It is unbelievable that there isn't this elbows up bullshit and pulling Chinese products off of the shelves. There is zero talk of it. I urge everybody to do a quick Google search about Mark Carney and his ties with China. And you will see that the embodiment of Mark Carney is literally foreign interference. The guy lives in Europe. He is part of he is the man at the World Economic Forum. I believe he's under investigation in the United States right now because of his dealings with the green net zero bullshit agenda and how it funnels money and it launders money. Check this out. You can easily look this up. A review of corporate documents reveals that Brookfield, the influential $900 billion Canadian investment fund, from which Liberal Prime Minister to be Mark Carney stepped away from in order to replace Justin Trudeau as Canada's leader, maintains over $3 billion in politically sensitive investments with Chinese state-linked real estate and energy companies. This is what Pierre Poilievre was just talking about, along with a substantial offshore banking presence. One of its major real estate ventures, a $750 million entry into high-end Shanghai commercial property in 2013, involved a Hong Kong tycoon affiliated with the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, which the CIA labels a Central United Front entity of Beijing. This is what I mean. Donald Trump knows. Ruby Dalla, for all of you out there that don't know, she tried to run in the Liberal race and they got rid of her. They got rid of her and I can't remember the other guy's name, another candidate. She noticed a pattern that the Liberal Party was placing Mark Carney there. Listen to what she has to say. She says, a glimpse into the playbook of the Liberal Party establishment. Whenever someone threatens Mark Carney's coronation, the foreign interference accusations mysteriously appear on the front page at the Globe and then CBC News. Do you see how this works? All of this CSIS allegations against Pierre Poilievre is old news. Very old news. And now all of a sudden it's a big deal and they're just blasting it out there. It is mind control and it is criminal what the Red Star media is doing to Canadians. Ruby Dalla says, first, they did it to people of color. Now it's Pierre Poilievre. Anyone who is competing and winning against Mark Carney could be next. The most absurd part, it's Mark Carney who's been living and working outside of Canada for the past 20 years. Mark Carney is foreign interference. That's why 5.8 million people engaged on my X account after this bullshit happened to me. No one wants an attack on our democracy. The Liberal Party elites need to battle this election on policies, ideas, and vision, not by attacking opponents with baseless smears. You can kind of picture Mark Carney as just being communist China. If you're going against the agenda and the narrative, it doesn't matter how much money it costs. These people are like trillionaires. They don't care. What do you think is manipulating the polls right now and the voters? And it's the boomers, by the way, that are vastly voting, overwhelmingly voting Liberal. The boomers are once again destroying the 18 to the 25-year-old generations. It's unreal. This is what mind control looks like in Canada. I can't blow this up anymore for you to see this, but this is just from today, from the Toronto Star and the Globe and Mail. Red Star Media Corp, Trudeau Media Corp. It's sickening what they're doing to the Canadian population. I'm just going to rip through this. It's all the same crap. Pierre Poilievre's advantage is slipping rapidly away. Mark Carney embraces the power of positive campaigning. Polls show Carney's Liberals have widened their lead over Poilievre. I am a conservative, but will be voting Liberal for the first time. Blah, blah, blah. Doug Ford, Mark Carney will always be a better partner than Pierre Poilievre. Voters in Ontario and Quebec are propelling Mark Carney's Liberals deep into majority government territory. Do you see what this is? It's just over and over and over again. This is extremely biased. They are compromised. This is mind control. Canadians have... They have like a hive mind. It is unbelievable, the trends and how they just mindlessly do what they are told because the screen tells them to do something. The screen in front of them. It just carries over from COVID, from when Justin Trudeau manipulated them the first time. Just a few little tidbits here. Canada freezes Tesla rebate payments, excludes company from future programs. Well, Canada had this great idea to just mandate EVs to try and reach net zero, which is all bullshit, by the way. This is ridiculous. This is typical of the Liberal NDP government. So they're creating more bad guys. What about the hundreds of thousands of people that drive Teslas now in Canada? They've been excluded out of the club. Are their Teslas going to get damaged and burnt to the ground? They're denying Elon Musk his subsidy money for providing EVs and building all this infrastructure in Canada. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that. That goes against all trade, everything the elbows up movement is trying to stand up to. These people are insane and ridiculous. All this does is it puts Tesla owners at risk now for their own safety. And last but not least, British Columbia drug decriminalization and safer supply associated with more overdoses. Anybody from Alberta or anybody with half a brain knew that this is what's going to happen. It is just sickening, the programming and the messaging that is just blasting an unsuspecting public right now. I'm going to keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care, and follow me on Substack, Spotify, and of course, YouTube.